we've heard a lot about layoffs, and I've told you, relax. Don't freak out. The media exists to scare the you-know-what out of you because it makes you watch or read, okay? And so when they start talking about layoffs, people start freaking out, including the best and supposedly brightest of us. I mean, you want to watch a Wall Street CEO, you want to see a Fortune 500 CEO jump and get nervous, just have a member of the media go on and say this word, recession. Ah! It's literally the equivalent of someone walking around the corner and you jumping out going, boo! I'm telling you, some of the supposed like brightest minds in business, you hear the word recession and they go, ah! And they freak out because, oh no. And it's because of the stock market and public companies, just their entire reason for being is the stock price. So you just got to know. And the reason I'm taking a minute just to have some fun with this is to kind of explain how the fear porn gets distributed. Okay? The media talks about it because they want to get your attention. And then, you got a lot of business people going, oh, no, they're talking about it. What are we going to do? Ah, the investors are going to drop out. And it's real. I get it. Because the media can make a bunch of people do all kinds of things. So I've told you that the layoffs headlines were driven by big tech companies that were shedding expenses, that's how they see it, in the form of laying off real human beings. That's how I see it. And we reported the horror stories. So what I told you was these were big tech companies that staffed up big time in the 2021 and 2022, at least the first couple of quarters, the boom. And then the media starts talking about a recession. And people start analyzing and all that. And so what do? They go, well, we're going to prepare for it. And what does Google care about you? I got your answer. 0. That's why 10,000 Google employees were laid off in the most inhumane fashion. We reported it on this show. People showing up in the middle of the night to actually get ahead on a project and found out they were locked out of the building only to receive an email the next morning telling them you're fired. Google doesn't care about you. So I've been telling you, relax. Well, Microsoft, 10,000 workers. Amazon, 18,000 layoffs. Zoom, 15% of its workforce. PayPal, 2,000 full-time jobs. Alphabet, which is Google's parent company, 12,000 job cuts. All of this in the first quarter of this year. And so it was just coming at us, boom, 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 boom. Okay. Well, here's what's interesting. And I actually think this is fantastic. One of the impacts of the job cuts from 2022, and it was towards that third and fourth quarter, we were reporting it on this show, and then the first quarter of 2023, is that a lot of these techies, engineers, coders, and more, instead of jumping back in the job market, they started their own company. A survey of 1,000 laid-off tech workers conducted by Clarify Capital found 63% of the respondents started their own company after their layoff. That's my slow clap of admiration to you, 63%. Fantastic. You took your shot, baby. Now, not all of the 63% are necessarily going to win, but I like that they took their shot. Because in some cases, them starting their own business is essentially freelancing. It's not like they had to go invest a bunch of money and open up a brick and mortar. I mean, that's the way the world has changed. Starting a company today is as simple as you telling your current employer, hasta la vista. And then having a Facebook page. Or just calling a bunch of people going, hey, I can code for you now. Wah, wah, wah. I mean, starting a business today is that low key. Accelerator Y Combinator, another institution, reported a jump in startup applications of 20% in 2022 and noted that the number of applications filed in January of this year, 2023, was 5 times higher than the previous year. Now, understand that this is survival of the fittest. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you do one of those, we're going to be doing an interview with the Spartan Race founder, Joe DeSena, soon. And I love these Spartan races. I don't like to do them. I'm not unhealthy enough to do things like that. If I get really unhealthy, and then I'll go torture myself for therapy, I would just rather go see a counselor. But, to each his own, okay? But you talk about survival of the fittest, the Spartan race is, right? You got a bunch of men and women lining up, and they're just going through this brutal race, and it's like whoever's toughest can stay the longest, whatever, they win. Well, same thing with all these startups. I mean, the numbers are, if you really want to test yourself, and that's the driving point I want to make right now. If you really want to test yourself, start a business. Because it's on the surface, it's very, I'll work how I want, when I want, where I want. Oh, and it's awesome. I've done it. But there's the other side of it. You are the boss. You are the head of sales. You better make some money or you will starve. Now, so you got all that combined with, these are two different notes, all right? Watch. This is what we think about starting a business and working for ourselves, and we go, and then we get in it, and it goes like this. All right, and there's a lot of those days, right? I'm just telling you. So not everybody's cut out to work for themselves. So what I would suggest to you is to hang out with some people who've done it. Don't just decide to do it. Why don't you use the proximity principle? And go hang out with some coders who started their own thing and went 1099 for a year and find out what worked, what didn't work, why it did work, why it didn't work. And then here's what's going to happen. As you ask the right questions and do your homework, your head and heart get in alignment. The head is the logic, and I'm gathering information, and the heart is the ultimate buzzer. And I hope my sounds work, because when I do this and I sit with people who are doing what I'm doing, and they're successful, by the way, and I gather information with my head, my heart does this. Or, it's that simple. People, we have made it so difficult on how do I get confirmation, Ken? Well, if you want to be self-employed, you got to talk to somebody who's done it and can report back to you on the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I promise you, it will be ugly, but here's what's beautiful. If it's right, when it's ugly, it's worth it. Every time. But you got to know, are you cut out for it? Because not everybody is. And you need to be okay with that if you're not somebody who should work for themselves. Let's find out and then make a decision.